Hey you guys, so I wanted to jump on in before we start the vlog because I just uploaded the video for the homemade baby food and I didn't, I thought I previewed it because I was having a problem with one part of the video, so then I had to delete it and re-upload it, and then that part was working, so I was like, great, yes, I got it. So then I uploaded it to YouTube. And then, I'm going about my day thinking, yay, my video is uploaded. I not once, the first time, not once, like watched it once it was uploaded to YouTube. And my mom told me that, she's like, the end of your video cut out with you putting stuff in the fridge. Is that how you meant to end it? And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I get in and I see that it cut the last 3 minutes of my video off. Like, so I do apologize. You didn't miss anything crazy. All I did was just put the sweet potatoes in the little containers, and then I fed my son, and then we ended the vlog. So I do apologize for the video just cutting out like that, and there was no ending. So I will make sure that that does not happen again. I will make sure to preview all of my videos, but I just wanted to jump on here and just say I apologize for that. I just didn't. We both apologize for that. And I will make sure that that doesn't happen again. So now we're going to jump to the vlog. Good morning, y'all, and happy Sunday. I'm going to move this phone. I put the phone in the wrong position every single time this baby kicks my arm, so the phone's like moving around, and I don't want to make you guys dizzy. There's a couple things that I wanted to do today, and I wanted to share it with y'all. I'm going to be making kombucha. I don't know if you guys saw my last video. I have a little jar on the counter, and it looks like there's some weird liquid in there with some weird little thing sitting on top of the liquid, and that is my kombucha. And I know they sell it in stores, but I love making my own. And when we moved to Maryland, I threw out all my scobies. I had neglected them. I had neglected them when I got pregnant because I couldn't tolerate the smell of them, and I thought that maybe I'd use them after I had Remy, and I didn't use them, and I didn't make any kombucha. And so I tossed them, and when we got down here, I wanted to go ahead and start again. So my husband's friend, he makes kombucha, so he sent us one of his scobies, and it's been sitting in the jar for about a week, and I know it sounds so gross, but I will explain everything later on in this video, so I'm going to go ahead and do that today. I just made a really small batch, but I will be making a large batch this time because I forgot how much I love it, and I just tried it, and it's so good. It's ready for me to, I don't know if I'm going to do the second fermentation, or we're just going to have it as is. We'll see. I'll decide before we do it. But yeah, I want to go ahead and show you guys how to make that. And then I also, I need to repot some plants. So I have this plant outside that I've been trying for about a year to get, to revive it because one winter, I didn't realize it was going to get so cold at night, and I think that it can't get below, I believe it's 40 or something for succulents. And that night I didn't think that the temperature was going to drop because in San Antonio it doesn't really get that cold. And the temperature dropped, and my beautiful long locks had these long leaves, and like, I don't even know, it was so beautiful, you guys, and it died. And I mean, it died. Well, it didn't die. All the parts fell off, but then I was like, well, I know succulents are really hardy, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and get it to grow again. And it did, but it has never been the same. So I'm going to go ahead and repot that. I'm hoping that if I replant it, maybe it just needs a different type of pot and whatnot, because they're not looking so well. So, but I also am going to be doing that to my cacti, or I can't say cacti, cactus, because I only have one cactus. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to my cactus, who's like a champ. This cactus is amazing. I love him. I don't know if you guys ever have a plant that you love so much and you refer to it as him and her, and that's what I do. Sorry guys, if I sound a little nasally today, it's because I am a bit congested. So yeah, that cactus is, can you say cacti? No, cacti is plural. Cactus. That cactus is amazing. I purchased him like almost 10 years ago from eBay. Maybe not 10, it was like 6 years ago from eBay or something. It was something like that. And he is awesome. I put him outside. I forgot about him, and he still lived. He's from Arizona. I got him off eBay from some guy in Arizona. And he's just been growing and growing and growing. And yeah, I love cacti and I love succulents. They're the only things that I can keep alive. So I absolutely love them. I had a whole bunch of them back home in San Antonio, and I gave them all to one of my friends because I just couldn't bring them with me. There was just no way. I had so many. So I only brought my 2 favorites, and I gave the rest of them to her, and they're doing great. She sent me a picture not too long ago, and they look amazing, which is awesome. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and this little guy, I need to get him fed. He doesn't like to eat when he first wakes up in the morning. He cluster feeds not all night long. Usually from about 4 in the morning, he starts cluster feeding. So he's usually not extremely hungry. Oh, and then here's Stanley. Say hi, Stan. And then that's Bugsy. I'm surprised you guys were able to see him. This is our one-eyed cat named Bugsy. I will have to tell you all of my animal stories one day, not today. It's not too long of a story. So he is just eating some oatmeal right now. You can see I went ahead and I breastfed him already, and decided to give him some oatmeal right now. I usually wait until after his first nap to give him oatmeal, but he was hungry. He seemed hungry, so. All right, guys, so we are out on a walk right now on this gorgeous Sunday. It's absolutely beautiful. It feels great. It's such a nice break in the heat from yesterday. It was just hot, and then the other day was super humid. It was gross. So we're gonna go ahead and do a little walk, and then when I get back, I'm gonna go ahead and, I said go ahead a lot. I'm going to replant. I'm gonna replant the succulents and the cactus. Good morning, guys. So I ended up not vlogging the rest of the day yesterday after we went for a walk, because while we were on that walk yesterday, I fell. My husband pointed out this little itty bitty tree, like this tiny, I'm talking about like tiny little tree that was, like, you know, when you have a new tree and you're trying, and it's growing and you've got the wire around it. Well, it was this little itty bitty tree around this huge thing of wire. So he pointed it out and we looked at it, and I didn't see that the sidewalks in my neighborhood are really bad. Like, they are terrible. We usually walk on the street, but we couldn't walk on the street in the area that we were walking because there's a lot of traffic in that spot. So we were on the sidewalk, and I didn't see that the sidewalk had like this much of a dip down. Like, there was a crack and then a step down, and I missed it, and I bit it so hard, and I heard my ankle pop, and it hurt so much. I didn't think that I was going to be able to walk home. I thought that my husband was going to have to get the car. Like, it was, and I'm just so happy that I didn't drop the baby, because the baby had just started crying when we were on our walk. So normally I carry him when we go for a walk, but this time we put him in the stroller, and I was carrying him, and I don't even know how I didn't fall. Maybe motherly instincts, whatever, but I held myself up, and I'm just so happy that I didn't fall with him in my arms. But I was able to like support myself with my other leg. Hey guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and start making the kombucha. This is the SCOBY. SCOBY stands for Symbiotic Culture of Bacteria and Yeast, and that is what helps create the kombucha. You mix, or I use organic. You're supposed to use either black tea or green tea. My mixture is a black tea. I use an organic black tea to make it. And all it does is you let it sit. I usually let mine sit for about a week to 2 weeks. Well, it just depends on how strong you want it. You can do, if you want it just a really light flavor, you don't like the really strong flavors of kombucha, you can do it for a couple of days. You want to make sure not to open this. This is a cheesecloth. You want to make sure not to take this off while it is fermenting. You don't want to risk any like gnats or fruit flies or anything getting inside of it. You don't want your kombucha to get mold. If you ever notice any type of growth on your kombucha, don't think that you can just pull that top layer off and start again.
you need to throw the entire SCOBY out because the mold will just keep coming and coming and coming. I've never had a problem with mold, but I know that some people do have a problem with mold. So what we're gonna do is we are going to make a black tea, which I started heating this up. I need to continue heating it because I forgot to open on my black tea. So to make, I'm gonna go ahead and make a gallon today. To make a gallon, I have the directions over here. I need 8 tea bags, a cup of sugar, 13 to 14 cups of water, and 2 cups of starter tea. This is the starter tea that I'm gonna use. These are the bottles that I store it in. I either store it in this or I'll store it in other kombucha bottles that I got from the store. I just take the labels off and reuse the glass bottles. You never wanna store your kombucha in plastic. The acidity in it will eat away at the plastic. Sorry, dogs. Hold on. Sorry, my son just came inside. I lost my train of thought. Where was I? Oh yes, so you don't want to store your kombucha in any plastic containers. You want to make sure that you use glass containers. And if you're going to do a second fermentation and then drink your kombucha, I recommend a pressurized glass container, because what could happen is if you use just, say, I think IKEA sells these little, they're like little pop, I don't know what they're called, they're like flip up bottles. I know that IKEA sells those, but they are not pressure tested, I think that's what it's called, and they'll explode. In the second fermentation, it is possible for your bottle to explode because it's happened before, and that's just because it wasn't in the correct bottle. And also what you want to make sure you do in your second fermentation, if you decide to do it, is to burp them. So all you'll do is you have the lid on this, you unscrew it, kind of release a little bit of the air, close it back up, and put it back in the cupboard. We like to leave it in like a dark space so that it can ferment a little bit longer. And what this second fermentation does too is it adds the carbonation to it. So if you didn't want to add any fruits or vegetables to it, you could just put a little bit of sugar, maybe just like a little teaspoon of sugar, just a little bit in there, and it'll ferment and it'll start getting carbonated. Now I know it doesn't always happen to some. My drinks were never really carbonated. I know I was a part of a couple of kombucha groups on Facebook, and I know I saw some of them, theirs were so carbonated they would take the lid off and it would just shoot out like champagne. And I mean, sometimes it can even get on your ceilings. It's pretty crazy. But mine never got carbonated like that, and I'm not really sure why. I mean, which was fine. To me, it doesn't really matter if it's carbonated or not. I just really like the flavor of kombucha. Now, I will say that I'm not a medical professional. I would always consult with your doctor before you add anything to your diet. If you already have stomach problems or digestive problems. If you have any issues like that, I would make sure to consult your doctor before you try any of this. So this is the sugar that I like to use, just an organic, fine granulated sugar. I think this one is from Costco. I ordered these online actually a long time ago. Well, not too long ago. Yeah, a little bit ago. I don't think sugar goes bad. Still good. We've had this for like a year and it's still good. It doesn't expire until 2021. So we ordered this. I ordered this on eBay. I got 2 huge bags of this for like a couple bucks. And it's obviously lasted. This is the first bag. I'm still on it. And it's lasted me quite a while. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring the water to a boil. And then I'm going to add my 8 tea. This is the tea that I'm going to use today. Just an organic black tea. We got these back at our HEB, I believe. I believe it was from our HEB in San Antonio. The soap that I like to use is, this is just a bottle and dish soap. It is plant-based, I believe. It says powered by plants, so I'm assuming it's plant-based. But this is what we prefer. This is what I prefer to use. When I was first learning how to do kombucha, I read that you're not supposed to use Dawn or Palmolive or anything like that. You're supposed to try and go as natural as possible. So I just always use an all-natural cleaning. And then I did wash all of my stuff. I've cleaned my countertops. I've sanitized everything. I got everything ready so that I could start making this. Like I said, you want to make this in the most sterile environment as possible. Oh, my little guy, I think is just waking up, so you guys might hear him. I need to go get him in just a second. I can't tell if he's gonna fall back asleep. So you wanna make this in just as sterile an environment as possible. You want to try and limit any type of bacteria or anything getting onto the scope because you don't wanna get mold. That's like the number one thing that can kill your kombucha is mold and fruit flies. If you don't have the right type of cover for your kombucha, I use a cloth, I believe it's a cloth cheesecloth. I went on eBay and I just searched in kombucha cloth and that came up, so I went ahead and I bought it. And I use that. I also have handkerchiefs that I'm gonna use on the larger container, which is I'm gonna be making something this big. And this, I'm gonna make a gallon in this. I got this from Walmart and I got it for like $9 at Walmart. It was ridiculous, but I've already washed it. And I always keep a little thermometer that, again, you can get on Amazon, eBay. I keep a little thermometer on here so I can know the temperature of what my kombucha is at. I like to keep my kombucha around 70 degrees. I think the warmer, you don't want to get it too hot, but the warmer it is, the faster it's going to ferment. In the wintertime, sometimes my brews can take, or batches can take close to a month to ferment. So all I'm doing is, I'm trying to hurry because I need to go get him because it looks like he's not going to go back to sleep. I like to take these off. I don't like them in the water, so I like to take them off and just put the bags. You can use loose leaf tea for this, and I believe it says it's 2 tablespoons of loose leaf tea, but you want to put it in one of those little, I guess those little tea balls, I think they're called, and because you don't want to have any of the actual tea in your batch. I mean, some might get in there, but you want to limit it. Almost threw the paper in there. So that's in there. Once that's in there, I like to turn off the stove. This is clean, but I'm just gonna rinse it off. And I just stir the tea that's in here. And then I also need a cup of sugar. You want to make sure you use a cup. So I just put a cup of sugar in there. And then I'm just going to stir it around until the sugar is dissolved. The sugar is what your yeast eats. So I'm just going to stir this. And then I also, like I said, when I was doing my research, I purchased the Big Book of Kombucha on Amazon, and I can go ahead and I'll link that down below. And I'll also link, it's called You Brew Kombucha. It's on YouTube, and she taught me so much when I was making kombucha. She actually does all the flavorings, which I hope to get back into that later. Right now I'm just trying to get my batches going where I have large batches, and it's a little bit of a process, but I mean, I'll get there. But yeah, I will link her down below, and she has so many awesome tips on kombucha. I love her channel. And then the Big Book of Kombucha as well has so much useful information. All right, so my sugar is just about dissolved. Like I said, I only made 5 cups with 8 tea bags and a cup of sugar. And then let me get my lid. So I'm just gonna put my lid on here, and I'm gonna let this steep for about 15 minutes or so. And then I'll remove all of the sugar from there. I'm sorry, I'll remove the tea bags from there, and we'll start brewing. The reason I like to make it, so it calls for 14 cups of water, 1 cup of sugar, 8 tea bags, and then you need 2 cups of your starter tea. This is the starter tea. The reason I like to do 5 cups of water and then I'll add either my 8 or 9 cups is because you don't want to put your kombucha, you don't want to put boiling hot water on the SCOBY. You will kill your SCOBY. And I like to do a little bit of water with the tea and then add the rest of the water. I usually, if it's a smaller batch, I'll do ice water. But since it's so much, since I'm adding 8 or 9 cups of cold water, it should warm that down enough to where I can safely add the SCOBY and it's not going to kill it. And my little guy just woke up, washed my hands again. He is playing behind me in his little bouncer. So let me go ahead. I'm going to just store my SCOBY in here But right now, I'm going to get a clean cloth. There we go. These are clean. These have been washed. Get a clean cloth just to place over it so that nothing falls inside of it. Actually, I'm gonna put my SCOBY in here. And I need to measure out 2 cups because that is how much I need. That is how much I need for my gallon. So we're gonna take this out. This is my baby SCOBY. This is the baby SCOBY. And this is the mother SCOBY. Pulling some of that kombucha out of there. This is the mother SCOBY and the baby SCOBY that formed from this one. And every single time you do kombucha, a new SCOBY will form. Now, I do think that sometimes I've heard some people's SCOBYs don't form. I've never had that happen. So, you know what? I might not even be able to save any of this, but I don't know. I'm just gonna stir it around because I want to get all that yeast, because that yeast is what you want to create the kombucha as well as the SCOBY. But yeah, I'm not gonna get much out of this because this has little measurements, and this is 2 cups, and so I only have about a cup that we're gonna have to drink. That's okay. I knew that was gonna happen. So I'm just gonna pour this in here. All right, you guys, so I went ahead and I put my kombucha under here. I put the little towel on top of it, it's a clean kitchen towel. Put that on top of it, and then I poured the remaining kombucha in here. And you can actually see if I shake it up a little bit. And we'll shake it up too. Well, no, maybe this one doesn't. I was hoping that it would have a little bit of carbonation, but it doesn't. That's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put this in the fridge, and later on this evening, my husband and I will have a small glass of our kombucha that we made. If you wanna make your own SCOBY at home, you totally can. That's how I started. I didn't go on Amazon or eBay and purchase a SCOBY. You can do that, but sometimes they don't send you enough starter tea, and it just, you can't make it unless you have starter tea. You honestly don't even need a SCOBY. If I wanted to, I could just put it with the starter tea and black tea, and it would still, as long as I have the yeast in it, it'll still make kombucha. So you honestly, if you didn't want to keep your SCOBYs, you don't need to keep your SCOBYs. You'll have a new SCOBY form every single time you make a batch, and you can people will put that in their fertilizer, and it's so good for your plants. So you don't actually need the SCOBYs. I like to use them though. I've never tried it without it, but I know that you can try it without it. So what you can do is you can go to the store, just get regular kombucha, don't get a flavored kombucha, or I don't know, they have so many different flavors. Don't do any of the flavors kombucha. Get just a regular original kombucha. And all you do is you just pour that. How I did is I poured it into that mason jar that you saw earlier, and I just covered it with the cheesecloth. You don't want to use the cheesecloths that have all the fibers that can flake off. You need to get yourself one of these, just an actual cloth. You can use a handkerchief, anything that's 100% cotton, I think you can use, or like I said, you can just order a kombucha cover, but you don't want to use actual cheesecloth, because I'm telling you, even though it doesn't look like it, fruit flies can get into your kombucha. They'll lay eggs. Your kombucha is done. No one wants to eat or drink kombucha that has bugs in it. Do that and just let it sit in a dark room for, say, a couple weeks. And by the end of that couple of weeks, you'll have a nice little SCOBY that you can start making kombucha with. I like to add ice to my water because I want this water as cold as possible. We want this water as cold as possible. You can see it. Because I want it to cool down my black tea that I just made. I am going to take out my black tea bags. So my black tea bags are out.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw this away. Okay. I'm going to pour this black tea in here. Spill a little bit, that's okay. Oh my gosh. That's the one thing I didn't like about making kombucha is it's really messy to make. And I am not good at pouring, clearly. There we go, that was better. So this is 8 cups of water. Hopefully I can pour this without, I can't. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is ridiculous. I'm just gonna wipe this up. Put this back on here. I'm gonna wipe all this up. I don't know what my dog is barking at because there's nobody by the door. They're crazy. Okay, I'll add a little bit more water to this. There we go. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so ridiculous. All right, so we're just gonna do that. I spilled like half my water. I'm going to pour. I'm gonna go ahead because I feel like I spilled quite a bit, so I'm just gonna put like 2.5 more. Oh man, I should have made. Maybe I should make it bigger. Okay, so here we go. It's done. So I want that ice to melt. There. Yeah, and it doesn't, it feels cool. It just feels like room temperature tea. So now, oh gosh, let's hope I don't spill all of this because that was ridiculous. I'm going to add my new SCOBY to this. And then once I have a bigger SCOBY, I'll probably throw these smaller ones out. But yeah, oh yeah, it's like just room temperature water. It feels the same temperature as this water, or this kombucha. I'm gonna add this to it, pour this. I went ahead and just poured it over the sink because I didn't want to risk spilling it. But this is what it looks like. I'm going to put my cheesecloth back on top. I want to make sure that it is tight on there and there is no opening or risk of a gross little gnat getting inside because nobody wants that. There we go. And there you have it. Hi. There you have it. So I'm gonna go ahead and you can leave this in a dark room. I honestly just put it out on my kitchen counter and just leave it out there. I put it away from the stove. I just have it over here in the corner on this side. And I'm just gonna leave this out and let it ferment for 2 weeks. And that's how you make kombucha. Hey guys, so we are finally ending the vlog. It is actually the next night. My son wanted to watch a movie last night, so we went ahead and we watched a movie and lost track of time before we knew it was too late. So now we're gonna try and kombucha for the first time.
Cheers. I like
It could
it.
have fermented longer.
It could have.
It tasted pretty
I like it.
strong when I tried it, but it's very sweet. It probably could have gone like another week or two. We like ours pretty potent.
Yeah, tart, sour,
Mm-hmm.
kombucha.
But it has that nice burn in the back of your
Yep.
throat.
It's good.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all, so we are going to finish our drink. Thank you so much for watching my video and being a part of this journey with me and being a part of our family. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, please comment down below and like and subscribe.